I think this whole thing is a big joke.
So, you used to watch VH1's I Love the 80s? Okay, Mo Rocca, brace yourself. Because you can't get enough 1982. Because you learned everything you know about Taoism from Winnie the Pooh. Admit it. This is THR's I Ate the 80s.
The success of the Smurfs cast a long shadow over the whole rest of the 80s. In an interview, producer Larry Houston once spoke about how difficult it was getting an X-Men show made in 1986. He said, "Cutesy baby animal things were in vogue then. If we would have made X-Smurfs, maybe it would have taken off." And he's right. When you look back at the 80s, apart from action figure-oriented stuff like Transformers and He-Man, everything was just about, three apples high. Especially somebody who was small enough to live in a cake made of strawberry.
Living right in a cake made of strawberry. Strawberry shortcake.
Wouldn't you know? In the 80s, American Greetings had a toy division which was called Those Characters from Cleveland. Those Characters from Cleveland created such memorable and forgettable properties as the Care Bears, Holly Hobby, My Pet Monster, Popples, Ring Raiders, and Strawberry Shortcake. Strawberry Shortcake has made a couple of different comebacks, but this is probably the image that most people think of when they think of Strawberry Shortcake. Stripy socks, beady eyes, face twice as wide as it is tall, and living in a community of similar people in a village pretty much like the Smurf village, except everyone lives in giant pastries that I guess never get stale or need to be re-iced. What does Strawberry Shortcake do when it rains? Now, this story is a pop-up book, so I can't show you very much of it, but rest assured this is more or less what Strawberry Shortcake and her friends looked like in the cartoon and the greeting cards and pretty much everything else. But then there's this book, also from 1982, Strawberry Shortcake and the Winter That Would Not End. The first thing you immediately notice about this book is the artwork. It's gorgeous! Major credit must be given to the illustrator Mercedes Limona. The characters are all recognizable, if you know the Strawberry Shortcake characters, which I'm afraid I don't really. Despite the fact that in this story they're all wearing winter clothing. I wonder if this was meant to market new winter outfits for the dolls. Most of all, what impresses me is the color work. Generally, Strawberry Shortcake is pretty neon, but all the colors in this are so muted because it's a winter story, and yet they all shine through anyway. Anyway, Strawberry Shortcake and her friends are having a good time in the winter, but it just doesn't seem like winter wants to end. Always winter and never Christmas? Or has Christmas come twice already? I can deal with that.
I calculate,
Said Plum Puddin', a smart, studious young fellow.
that if spring doesn't come soon, we will have a big berry crop this year.
Fellow? I thought fellow was a masculine noun. I thought plum pudding was a girl. Maybe I'm just thinking of fellow wrong. Hang on. Well, apparently it's both. Plum Puddin' started out as male and became female. Oh, Ozma! Anyway, that's when their friend Elderberry Owl shows up to inform them that someone has stolen the Snow King's magic snow crystal, and he can't stop the snow without it. Okay, so the snow crystal stops snow? I would think that if you didn't have it, you wouldn't be able to make it snow, or... The chief suspect in the theft is Benedict Badger. Full name, Benedict Cumberbadger. The kids are all terrified to go visit the Badger because they've heard he can make tree roots twist all around you.
Just like this. Ah!
But Strawberry Shortcake takes initiative and starts delegating responsibilities, naming a navigator, a sergeant-at-arms, and she enlists Huckleberry Pie to help her make helmets and swords. Then they all go off to battle the Badger with their helmets and swords, and the baby, Apple Dumplin'. Maybe it's just me, but the strange combination of youth and independence in these stories kind of bugs me. How old are these kids supposed to be? Why is there a baby? Where did the baby come from? Who takes care of the baby? Did Strawberry Shortcake get milk from cows or something? Or, I don't know. Is it unfair to hold up a children's toy line to this kind of scrutiny? No, it's not, because if you keep answering these questions, that's called world building. Then they all go off to fight the badger, loaded for bear with their helmets and their wooden swords, and the baby, just in case the badger needs a handy hostage. Benedict Badger really does look like a peaceful type. Right out of Narnia, really. And is it just me, or is that ice crystal just a cert? The badger awakens and drives them off, but they play keep away and get away with the crystal. But the badger begins to cry, and Strawberry Shortcake, good-hearted as always, comes to ask him what's wrong. The badger's problem is that he's sort of like Oscar the Grouch. He likes the cold weather, the quiet, and the solitude. Until Strawberry gives him a taste of the jam that they're going to be able to make with the berries that will grow in spring, and suddenly the badger is a little more amenable to the idea of spring coming. And just to show there's no hard feelings, they even invite the badger to live with them in the berry patch? Wow. No, really, wow. I mean, they recognize that his crime was due to hardship, and they invited him to come stay with them so that he wouldn't have the hardship that drove him to crime in the first place? You know, these girly cartoons were kind of subversive by 1980 standards, really.